Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gents around the world. Today we're heading even further east. Hang on. East or west? Oh no, we're going across the international date line, aren't we? Hey, how does this work again? I don't get it. Yeah, that's right, I never did geography as a GCSE. Oh well. So, as I was saying before my knowledge of geography failed me, today we're journeying across the Pacific to the Americas to again discuss one of the first civilizations that arose there. No. Alright, just stop. Okay guys, just stop. For God's sake, just because it wasn't in Europe and wasn't around the Fertile Crescent doesn't mean it's uncivilized. For God's sake. And you try not to say, you narcissists. Bloody hell. Right, all jokes aside, before I manage to piss off any other countries in the Western Hemisphere, today we're going to discuss one of the first civilizations to arise in the Americas. Well, civilization as we understand it today as in people settling down, building urbanized cities and structured architectural planning. Yes, there were people in the Americas long before cities or urban planning began to arise. And of course, I'm talking about the Native American tribes as we know them today. I will be going into a bit more detail on the Native American tribes in a later video, don't worry, I'm not leaving them out. But in keeping with the theme of the first civilizations, I'm just going to start today with what is believed to be the oldest permanent settlement civilization in the Americas. That includes both North and South America, if you weren't aware. First of all, let's just do a bit of geography and a bit of background context just to clean things up. This up here is North America. This down here is South America. Now, the civilization I'm discussing today is known as Norte Chico or Corral Supe. That civilization was discovered in the Andean area in what is now known as Peru. In case you're interested, it's roughly 120 miles north of the Peruvian capital, Lima. So, now that you know what the difference between North and South America, and now that you know the geographical location of Norte Chico, now for the background context. Okay, so, before the end of the last ice age, across what is now known as the Bering Strait, there was an ice bridge, which allowed for early nomadic peoples to walk across the Bering Strait unhindered. Through this, they came into North America. However, it is now believed that different peoples arrived at different times in the Americas through a variety of methods. For now though, we can solidly say that there were humans across both North and South America by around 15,000 years ago. And Norte Chico itself, from what we found, was not settled until circa 3000 BC. So it existed at roughly the same time as our other ancient civilizations in Mesopotamia and the Indus River Valley. Again, keeping with that theme, the settlers of Norte Chico settled around the river Supe, where anywhere between 18 and 30 settlements in the surrounding area have also been discovered. However, it is now theorised among scholars that instead of producing its wealth from agriculture and excess crop yield, as was the case for Sumer, the Akkadian Empire, the Indus River Valley Civilization, and Jia Dynasty China. And you may be thinking, because of the area, they could have produced their wealth from gold or silver, precious metals. But a lack of gold and silver objects in the site of the ruins debunks this possibility entirely. Calm down, Spain. So, there was probably not much plunder to be found here at all. Instead, it is theorised among scholars that Norte Chico and the surrounding settlements got their wealth and resources instead from maritime sources, the ocean, and lived off of a mainly seafood diet. This, however, for now, is just a theory, because, again, annoyingly, the Norte Chico peoples didn't leave much in the way of historical documentation for us. In fact, Norte Chico is known as a pre-ceramic civilization, meaning that in their artwork, ceramics are nowhere to be found. So pottery, bowls, you'll find none of that in Norte Chico. It's crazy, isn't it? How pottery is always a key marker for finding ancient civilizations. You're just digging in the sand one day and you find a bit of pottery and you think, oh my god, we found another civilization. No, not here. Instead, like Xia Dynasty China and the Indus River Valley civilization, I suppose Norte Chico likes to make things difficult for us. But even more difficult still, we don't even have a myth for basis. Oh god, this is Xia Dynasty China on caffeine. Ready the painkillers, because this is going to be another difficult one. Yikes. But with so little to go off, you're probably wondering, how do we even know that Norte Chico existed in the first place? Well, here's the surprising bit. What we know of Norte Chico comes from the architecture they left behind. Because the site was considered to have so little in the wealth of precious metals such as gold and silver, it was therefore of very little value and not worth plundering. And so the ruins, for the most part, throughout their history, have remained mostly intact. So much so that raised platforms made out of earth and stone have been found in the area, as well as sunken stone circular courtyards resembling perhaps plazas, something akin to Senate buildings. And like some other Mesoamerican civilizations that would come after Norte Chico, pyramidal structures have been found near the site, like the ones found in Central America. It is theorized that these buildings perhaps could have served as retreats for the Norte Chican elite, or, similar to the Mesoamerican civilizations that would come after, perhaps as religious ceremonial buildings. Which then begs the question, perhaps maybe Norte Chico was a sacred religious city. However, for now, that is just a question without an answer. And besides their architecture, there isn't really a lot else to suggest what Norte Chican society, culture, religion, or their politics were like. In fact, we have very little evidence besides the architectural ruins. Although in terms of artwork, there may not be any ceramics or pottery for us to examine and have a look at. But in 2000, a geoglyph of a person with long hair with an open mouth was found not far from Norte Chico itself. Whether this was a deity or perhaps an actual record, a big one at that, we don't know. Now, as for the mark or impact that Norte Chico left on the world, on a global scale, its impact isn't huge. I am not going to sugarcoat it in any way. Norte Chico, in fact, was completely unknown to us until it was discovered by Paul Kosok in 1948, less than a century ago. But it is now believed that Norte Chico indeed did have an impact on the civilizations that would spring up in the areas surrounding it at later dates. For you see, the sites around Norte Chico were believed to have been settled circa 3000 BC, but then were mysteriously abandoned a millennia later in 2000 BC, around the same time of the collapse of the Akkadian Empire. Why it was abandoned so suddenly, we don't yet know. However, an interesting piece of textile has been found at Norte Chico, resembling something that would be used by surrounding civilizations long after Norte Chico was abandoned, is that of Quipu, which is a knot system that is now known as a key feature of pre-Columbian American civilizations. This knot system is believed to have been used as a way of record keeping before the method of bookkeeping, writing and record taking was introduced by the Europeans after Columbus discovered, in air quotes, the Americas. Indeed, it has been said that Norte Chico is thought to have influenced later civilizations such as the Maya, Olmecs and Incas with their architecture and system of urban planning, along with their use of textiles to take notes and make records. Therefore, even though little evidence remains of the Norte Chicans, and we still don't know an awful lot about them, it seems that they appear to have a profound impact on the civilizations that would emerge around them for millennia to come, up until the Spanish conquest of the area. So there you have it, the story of perhaps the oldest known civilization in the Americas, Norte Chico. It is quite unfortunate that for some of these ancient civilizations we have very little knowledge to go off of when building a clear picture of what they were like, but it's still interesting to discover that there is far more to the ancient Americas than was first thought. And I personally would love to know more about the Olmecs, the Maya, Aztecs and Incas who once dominated the southern portion of these two continents before the Spanish showed up and had to ruin the party. Sorry Spain, I had to say it. Anyway, you may think we're done with the first civilizations, but we're not yet. That's right, I've saved the best for last, you know it, I know it. The land of pharaohs, kings, gods and the Nile, ancient Egypt. But you'll have to wait until next time for that. For now, it's time for me to sign off and to remind you that I have recently set up a Twitter page. So follow me on Twitter at Grand Portfolio for regular updates about the channel, and a weekly trivia system that I do known as Mystery Monday. So follow me on Twitter for channel updates and the weekly trivia. But for now though, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and perhaps consider subscribing to keep up to date with more cultural and historical content on the Grand Portfolio. But now ladies and gents, it's time for us to make the perilous journey back across the Atlantic. So let's head off to Egypt next time, and hopefully we won't go the way of a Spanish treasure fleet. I'm Lewis of the Grand Portfolio, and thank you so much for watching.